you look at how good Fernando Mendoza has been this year, a lot of it's because Indiana has been incredibly balanced. Like they have been able to line up and they haven't been forced to become one dimensional. They can run the football, they can pass the football. I mean, you look statistically at what they've been able to do. Running the football this year, they've got 3,000 yards passing. They've got like 2,800 yards rushing. I mean, you want to talk about his balance. Like you're getting pretty darn close to that. I mean, they've thrown it about 320 times. They've rushed it nearly 500 times. Like they're effective at doing both. And number of running backs with Hemby, with Black, they get downhill. Their offensive line gets on guys. They don't necessarily drive them out of there, but they stay on their blocks. They run a lot of tempo. They get there and they get tempo and they get running down the hill on you. And that's why they score so many points. That's why they average, 5, 6, 7 more points than Ohio State, because they get extra possessions. They run downhill and they get on you quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then what that does is that allows Fernando Mendoza to play action pass, throw some quick game, the in-breaking routes, and all of those things work, Schlegs, but it all starts with that running game. But if you can have big K-Mac in the middle eating that center like a Big Mac, then all of a sudden that changes what you're able to do, not just in the run game, but then your pass, play action, and everything else isn't nearly as effective as well.
And also, when you run that kind of tempo and then you do get a quick 3 and out, or you get a quick first down and then go 3 and out, now your defense is right back on the field. And we've seen how methodical, surgical like Ohio State's offense has been when you can do an 11-play drive, when you can go and win first and second down and have it in third and short and convert and just chew clock. Now your defense is on the field for a long time. Tempo sometimes can be good, Bob, right? Like you want to keep them off guard. You want to keep the personnel in there. You want to keep going downhill, make them, trust with their eyes, get them tired a little bit. But that defense 3 and outs you, and you have an offense like Ohio State that can be methodical and just execute their game plan, it could potentially turn into a really bumpy day.
Well, and the other thing that they're good at, Schlegs, is Indiana does a really good job offensively of staying on track.
Yeah.
And they get the running game going. They get the quick passing game going. They see a lot of third and less than fives, like short and like low mediums. They're not seeing really a whole lot of 6 and over. They're not seeing a lot of 3rd and 8s because Fernando Mendoza, if you go look, it's funny, Old Dominion gave them almost as much trouble as anybody. Purdue had the right idea of what they were doing, and you could see it early on. They just didn't have the horses and ran out of gas. But if you can stuff up the run and then start making Mendoza uncomfortable in the pocket, he starts looking at the rush. And he isn't quite as disciplined as maybe you would like to see that guy move around and stay back there. So stopping the run is important with that, especially when they go tempo, because then you can make them one-dimensional. You can get in some more of your coverage stuff. So I think Ohio State, you'll probably see, a heavy look of bear. They've run a lot of it. They did some against Texas. They ran a lot of different things against Texas. I think they'll probably dust some of that game plan off again, just based upon kind of how Indiana plays. But you're going to have to be clean. You're going to have to be efficient with it.
Yep, 100%. And, you go back and you talk about all the points that they scored. You had 55 versus Kennesaw State. You had 73 versus Indiana State, right? You had 56 versus UCLA and 55 versus Maryland, and then Purdue, just another one, right? But you know what, though? That hasn't been Ohio State's MO. They've controlled the football. They've used games as scrimmages to continue to work on and build for the Michigan game and the Big Ten championship game. And that's why this game is so intriguing. It's not about how much you score versus the nobodies. It's how efficient you can be to doing what you do and following the game plan. And what your point was, Bob, staying on script, staying in rhythm offensively, going against 2 really good defenses.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, Schlegs. And then coming up, we're going to dive back onto the other side of the ball. We'll look at this Ohio State offense against this Indiana defense and some of their elite players, what they do, how Ohio State will be attacking them to be the most efficient they can be. We'll get all that going after Our friends from Export here, parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes and designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouthguards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouthguards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber that they custom print right to your grill. That means more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. We break down this Ohio State offense versus the Hoosiers defense coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. All right, Schlegs, looking at this Ohio State offense.
Yep.
What do they need to do against the Hoosiers to be able to actually before this? I told Pat to get it going and have it ready. We're going to play the trailer.
Do it.
Get you ready for this game. Get you fired up, and then we're going to break down this Ohio State offense against the Hoosiers defense. So, Pat, hopefully you've got this thing gassed up and ready. Here we go.
Every season, the goal is to climb to where the air is rare. It always starts in the dark, when nobody is watching. What are you willing to sacrifice to be a champion? How much blood, sweat, tears are you willing to lose just to be on top of the mountain? Some dream of the summit, but only the relentless, fearless, hungry actually rise. This is where champions are made. Only the strongest can breathe at this altitude. Only the toughest can stand tall where others fall.
60 minutes for this moment right now. Touchdown. Keep pushing, man. Every day, same brotherhood, the same love, the same passion. Every day. Be different.
Ohio State royalty. Ask yourself, what does the top look like? Then keep on climbing. This is the Big Ten Championship, where the air is red, where pressure is highest, and where only champions survive.
All right, Schlegs.
That's super juicy.
That is.
Goosebumps. And I love the fact that they went back and they showed because, young people and this team is a little bit different, Bob, in the fact that I do believe that they understand that it is about the process and not necessarily the results, and being able to go through that grind and go through camp and go through the season and just be methodical. And that's our identity. And we're just going to play one game at a time. We're going to continue to improve week in and week out. And that's what you've seen. Ohio State has just gotten better. Week in and week out, being methodical, being who they are, beating people by how much you think they should beat them by, controlling the time of possession, playing great defense. It is who they are. And now to see all that come out, and we have a Big Ten championship game, 1 versus 2. This is why you play. This is why you go to Ohio State. For Indiana, it's very, very new for them. Like, I've heard a lot of their fans, like, it's crazy. And you know what? Good that you have a head coach that gives you that much juice and confidence. Finally, Indiana, you're no longer the doormat of the Big Ten. You're in the Big Ten championship game. But now you got to go execute. And to your point, Bob, this offense versus this defense, I will just say this. They are really good at getting turnovers. Lewis Moore, he has 5 interceptions. They sacked the quarterback. I think they have like 34-something sacks on the season. But their turnover margin is plus 17. Ours as a team is plus 5. We haven't got a ton of turnovers this year. We've been really good on third down. We've been phenomenal in the red zone like we have been the past couple of years. But that turnover margin, that in games of good on good, turnovers matter, and Indiana is really good at getting them and putting their team in a competitive advantage to score. That's something for Ohio State that you have to eliminate in this contest.
Yeah. So Indiana, the way they play defense, Schlegs, is they're not the biggest defense, especially up front. Their D-line isn't huge. They play really hard. They're really well coached. And Ryan Day was very complimentary of Kurt Signetti and everything.
He was the Big Ten Coach of the Year for the second year, Bob. I mean, What about Ryan Day taking a team that everybody – I know they don't give him to the Ohio State coach, but I mean, like, give the dog a bone.
Yeah. Well, Ohio State coaches don't win it. Like, that's just the reality. You're not allowed because they think you have the best players. I'm like, well, you have to recruit the best players too. Like, we were at Ohio State. I'm like, well, there was a lot of time when Michigan wasn't very good. I mean, Penn State hasn't been great. I mean, USC, I mean, they're not there. Like, so don't give me that. There's other schools that are really talented. But Kurt Signetti is very good. Ryan's talked about it. They're incredibly disciplined. How they play defense, like a lot of zone. I have a lot of faith in their corners. And I think this is going to be interesting because they love to go stop the run. Aiden Fisher, one of their stud linebacker, really good. It was him, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles on the first team all Big Ten linebacker board. Roja Hardy's another one that's really good.
Really good player. Leads the team in sacks and tackles.
Yeah, they've got some dudes, man. Aiden Fisher, they don't blitz a ton, but what they do is they're small and they move. And so just, talking to some of the guys this morning, like, you've got to get bodies on them. Once you get a body on them and once you lock them up, then you got to finish them. You can't let them slide off blocks because that's the problem. Michigan was big, physical, wanted to compress the pocket, compress the line of scrimmage. And so that was a whole nother deal that you had to deal with there. So obviously you have to dig them out, and they're strong and they're tough. These guys are little water bugs, man, and you got to get on them. You got to move your feet. But if you can get those seams, they can be big. And their linebackers fly. So they like to, Schlegs, they call spill defense. They get inside and they want to kick everything to the outside and let their linebackers, with Aiden Fisher being number one of them, to spill and run. And they'll miss tackles. But the thing is, they don't get there with just one guy. They get there with 2 and 3. So you got to ball security. Make sure you're not getting hit twice, 3 times, fumbling the football. The ball does come out. That's why they usually get it. And then on the back end, they're not a big man team. They play a lot of zone. They put a lot of faith in their corners. They'll go some single high, some quarters. So they're asking their corners to go out and play tough. I don't know how much they'll try to do that against Ohio State. Yep. I think that they will, but like, that was Notre Dame's MO last year. They started doing that against Ohio State, and then poof, they got lit up. So it's just a function of, can Ohio State get on those blocks? Can they run the ball, grind them down? All of a sudden you jump into single safety look, put those corners on an island, and then you've got the Ferraris on the outside. Going to be inside, so it bodes well for guys with soft tissue injuries. They don't have to worry about that, in the cold of keeping it warm and everything else. So pretty excited for what they've got going. And I honestly think that this game could be close, but I don't think it has to be with how Indiana plays and what Ohio State can do.
Well, if you can do exactly what you said offensively, Bob, and you can establish the run and be methodical and chew the clock, it will then put them in a sense of urgency to get out of what you said earlier that they like to do, and that is be in a rhythm and play with tempo. Doesn't mean you're going to stop them from playing with tempo. Like, they got to go, but how they go changes because they're playing from behind, something that they haven't had to do this year. And again, the good thing about the last week's game versus Michigan was that Ohio State, with a younger group, faced some adversity and nobody blinked. Defense didn't blink. They held them to field goals, which you're supposed to do on a sudden change. Offense didn't blink. They've been progressing in the running game that led up to a physical defense, top 11 rushing defense in the country, and ran all over them. That's what this game's going to come down to. And it goes back to what you said, Bob. It's winning your one-on-ones and getting a body for a body and a hat for a hat. And as we've seen Bo Jackson grow in this year, which, again, a freshman, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish and all the development. His ability to run through contact on the first one to get to the second level has been increasing week in and week out. That will happen in this game. So and to your point, once you've established that, hey man, we got to stop it. They're bleeding us out. They're taking it. That was a possession. We got to go get one back. We got to bring some pressure. 1v1. Here you go. Buckle up, Buttercup.
What did you say? Get meat on meat? Was that your thing in the blocking?
I think I said a body on a body or a dude on a dude, but just get meat on meat, man. Nobody doesn't like that. Just meat on meat.
One of the other big pieces of it, like they're really good in their zone drops. Like Indiana, you watch them move Schlegs, they move on a string all together.
Depth vision break, baby.
So someone in the chat, we'll get answer some of this stuff, but they're like, what do you run? A lot of crossers and things. Like, you don't really run crossers against zone. You can, but crossers are more for man. You're going to do some high-low stuff, some floods. You want to get multiple people in the zone. And you know what? If they sit back and force you to take the short stuff, you just keep taking the short stuff. You bleed them to death. And Julian's been very patient with that all year. And then also you run the ball really well, and then you run play action, because if those guys pull up in the zone, Schlegs, that's when you have the opportunity to then get behind them and sneak on in there.